Hello, this is the summary of the lesson from October the 22nd and 23rd. It's a construction lesson on how to construct perpendicular lines. Before I go through the construction that we learned in this lesson, I want to just briefly review the first thing that we learned to do before, which is to make a perpendicular bisector. Remember, that's a line that it goes through the midpoint of this segment here, somewhere around here, and makes a 90-degree angle. And what we found is that we need points that are the same distance from each of the two endpoints. Because any point that you put on the perpendicular bisector is the same distance from A as it is from B. So we used this circle, and then we made an overlapping circle this way. These circles have the same radius, and that radius is actually the length of AB. But that means that the places where the circles intersect are the places where the circles are the same distance, the points are the same distance from A and B. And to make a perpendicular bisector, we found that we need 2 points. So I'm using my intersect tool, which I found here in the point menu, and I'll click on the left circle, and then I'll click on the right circle, and it creates these 2 intersection points. And then I'll just use my line tool, and I'll connect those 2 points like this. Okay, so that's how we made a perpendicular bisector. The significant thing is that this is the tool that we have in constructions. This is the only tool that we have to create a right angle. So in order to do today's lesson, you have to first know how to do this one because it's part of what we're going to do. It's the only way that we have to create a right angle. So now let's have a look at what we learned to do in lesson 2.2, I guess. Yeah. So we learned in lesson 2.2 to make not a perpendicular bisector, but just a perpendicular line, a line that is perpendicular to this one that we have here called AB. But we also want to aim that line for point C here. And point C is not in the center of AB, so I can't just make the perpendicular bisector of AB. It's over here. It's closer to A than it is to B. So the way that we do this construction is we have to basically create conditions that we can use to then make a perpendicular bisector. We need to create points so that C is right in the middle of those 2 points, so that the perpendicular bisector of those 2 points will go straight through C, so that C is right in the middle. So I'm going to make a circle, and it doesn't really matter the size of the circle. I just want to make the circle big enough that it intersects the line that I'm shooting for in 2 different places. And the reason that I'm using the circle is, again, the distance from the center to the edge is always the same. So if I mark those 2 points of intersection by using my intersect tool, and I'll click on the line, and then I'll click on the circle, I mark those 2 points, point E and point F. And I know that point C is the same distance from E as it is from F. In fact, why don't I just hide the line for a second so that that's the line we're shooting for, but I'll make a segment, right? And so this segment here, you can see that C is right in the center of that segment. So if I make a perpendicular bisector of that segment, then that should go right through C. Okay, so let's do that really fast. I'll do the overlapping circles. I'll go E to F, and then I'll go F to E. So my overlapping circles, right, create these 2 points that are the same distance from E as they are from F. And then I'll use my intersect tool again, and I'll click on the left circle, and then the right circle, and I find those 2 points. And look, you can even see that if you can just visualize, if you line up H and G, it's going to go right through that point C that we're aiming for. So now I'll make my line, and I'll click on H and G, okay? And we can see that there is this perpendicular bisector happening. But I want you to note that, it's actually perpendicular to this entire line AB, right? This entire line, and C is not in the middle. So that when I move point A, for instance, see, it remains perpendicular. It still has that nice 90-degree angle. And when I move point C, gotta grab my move tool. When I move point C, right, the line goes with point C because all of these points, E, F, and G, and H, they're all based on these circles, and C was the beginning of that construction. So again, what we did was we used this circle to find E and F, that were the same distance from point C. Then we used E and F to make a perpendicular bisector, and then it turns out that that line is perpendicular. All of the steps to do this are on the GeoGebra investigation for this week. Please go there and check it out if you haven't done so already, and at least attempt to do these perpendicular line constructions. And I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday.